Hello, everyone. This week's episode is about the art of increasing kindness towards yourself. I want to start this episode off with a disclaimer because I don't think anyone wants to assume that they're not kind to themselves. And I don't believe that anyone hates themselves. I believe that we all like ourselves to a certain extent. But that's not really the focus of this episode. My purpose and my intention behind this topic is to shed light on the areas within ourselves that we're not so kind about, whether it's the mistakes of the past that we made and we have a hard time coming to terms with them and accepting that it shaped us into the woman that we are today. It can also be areas that you're trying to improve on, whether it's a quality within you that you're not proud of. We all have qualities within ourselves that we would like to work on and change, and it's nothing to be ashamed about. There is a way to want to change, want to grow and expand while still extending kindness towards yourself in that process. That is what today's conversation is going to be about. It's all focused on increasing kindness towards ourselves, regardless of where we are in life, so that when we do feel challenged and we do feel like we're slipping up or that we're falling behind, we can still have compassion for ourselves because that, in my opinion, is truly the test. We're going to unpack all of this, and I hope that by the end of this episode, you can feel a lot more compassion and empathy for yourself, because when we allow ourselves to make mistakes and be imperfect, we also allow the people that we love to do the same. It really results in not only feeling happier and more at peace within our own mind, but we end up feeling more at peace and happier in our relationships with the people around us. And even more so, it just results in a kinder world. This all stems from exercising kindness towards ourselves. Many times, the way that people act towards others, whether it's on social media or in relationships, is a reflection of their relationship with themselves internally. If we get into a disagreement with a loved one and they get angry with us and frustrated with us, it really has very little to do with us. We are not the source of their anger and their frustration. It has to do with that person having difficulty sitting with the fact that not everyone agrees with them. And that can come from needing external validation to feel that their opinions matter. And it's unfortunate that sometimes we do express our sense of lack and our insecurities onto others through reactive behavior, such as anger and hurtful speech. But the whole purpose of this episode is that it's okay to make a mistake. It's perfectly normal to look back at your past actions and the words you've said in the past and realize that you have changed and you don't carry yourself the same way anymore. Many times we have difficulty forgiving ourselves for making a mistake. We have a hard time accepting that we did something that we're not proud of and that we did something we wouldn't do. Now, we are going to unpack 4 steps that will really help us get to the root of what's holding us back from unconditional kindness towards ourselves. You will see that by exercising more of this kindness towards yourself, it will be a lot easier for you to be kinder to others, even the people that frustrate you the most. And you will feel that the world is kinder to you in return, because what we give, we get back. And that's a universal law. This topic is very important to me because the more we exercise kindness within ourselves, the more the world that we live in today becomes kinder. Now, the 4 steps that we are going to get into are as follows. We have 1, uncover the ways you're hard on yourself. 2, rewrite the inner dialogue that shapes your world. 3, replace pressure with genuine support. And 4, heal yourself to heal the world. Let's dive right into step 1. uncover the ways you're hard on yourself. There are definitely qualities that we appreciate about ourselves. Whether it's we appreciate that we're hardworking, we appreciate that we're creative, we appreciate that we're responsible, we appreciate that we're giving, whatever it may be. There's definitely qualities within us that we can admit we appreciate. We love that we have these qualities. At the same time, there are parts of ourselves that we prefer not to focus on too much, whether it's because we feel shame around it, guilt around it, or fear. One of the first parts of becoming unconditionally kind to yourself is bringing those shadow aspects of yourself, the qualities within you that you are not proud of, that you think people will judge, which really means that we judge internally, and cultivating compassion for these qualities within ourselves. Because no one is perfect, and that includes ourselves. So if we notice that we have a quality within ourselves, such as we have a hard time sharing with other people, or I know for me, I had this quality of talking over other people when I got really excited and passionate about a topic. I knew that I had this quality within myself, but I almost shut it out because if no one called me out on it, I didn't think it was really a problem. And then I believe 1 or 2 times, one of my friends did call me out on it, and they were right. And I didn't get defensive about it, and I believe it's because I was conscious that I had that quality within me, so I wasn't super surprised when it was brought to my attention. But I did feel shame and I did feel guilt, and I do remember thinking to myself at the time, "Why do I do this? And why am I like this? And why can't I just stop talking and be a good listener?" And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm a perfect listener now or even a great listener now, but I definitely have worked on this quality within myself to really think before I interrupt someone, and I really try to make sure that it's very important and necessary. I know that we all have qualities within ourselves that we know we could improve on. I don't want anyone to feel shame around these qualities because they can end up being our greatest strengths. Because I'm aware that it's not that easy for me to listen to other people, I really had to work on my self control. And I realized I have a lot more power and control over myself than I realized. That was a beautiful discovery that I would have never realized I wanted to work on within myself. A tip for this step: stand in front of a mirror for 1 minute and observe your initial thoughts. Shift at least one negative thought into a neutral or a kind one. I don't believe that this is discussed that much on social media, but I do know that as women, we have a lot of self critical thoughts, and it's normal. It happens. The truth is, though, we have created that internal chaos, and that could seem harsh, but it's true. Anytime someone has ever told us something about ourselves that made us feel shame, guilt, or insecurity, we believed it and we held on to it. And because we did both of those things, it ends up repeating on a loop without us realizing. Luckily, because we allowed these thoughts to be ingrained in our mind, we have the same ability to remove it. And this comes through practice. That is why I really love this tip. It's easy to look in the mirror and see all the areas that we want to improve, whether it's our face, we're aging, our body, we want to tighten up, our skin tone is uneven, you name it, the list can be endless, and it's almost as if every week there's a new obsession on something to improve upon in terms of our physical appearance as women. And so I really want you to practice flipping the script. Try to look at yourself in the mirror and think only positive thoughts for 30 seconds and just compliment yourself. You don't have to say it out loud. That can be strange, especially if you live with other people. But think these thoughts so that they start to replace the negative thoughts that repeat on a loop in your mind. And you will see a difference. It won't be instant. It's just like going to the gym. The more consistent you are in this practice of challenging negative thoughts with positive thoughts, over time, it will become a lot easier for you to destroy these negative thoughts. Step 2, we have rewrite the inner dialogue that shapes your world. Our inner dialogue is very sensitive. The conversations that we have with ourselves internally dictate the way that we experience life externally. If we are judging ourselves and we are ruminating on past experiences, we end up unconsciously projecting that onto the people in our lives. An example of this for me, I have definitely had the perfectionistic trait within myself for most of my life. I think it started once I hit puberty, and I don't know if that's a universal thing for women, but I know that once I became aware of my body changes and I was becoming a woman, I cared a lot about how I looked, and surprisingly, not just how I looked to myself, but how I looked to other people. And so instead of me cultivating self worth and self confidence within myself, I really outsourced that. And I would look to my family and my friends and just the public, whether it's social media and getting likes. I would really rely on the outside world to validate whether or not I looked good and I was doing a great job at taking care of myself. Now, during that phase of my life, I was highly sensitive to people's opinions of me. People would tell me the simplest comments, such as, "You look different today. I didn't recognize you." And my mind would race endlessly, thinking that it was criticism and judgment. What do you mean you don't recognize me? Do I look worse than how you saw me last time? And so I really believed at that time that it was other people that were insensitive and they would just say whatever was on their mind and they didn't think how people would feel and react to the things that they said. But after going through my own healing journey and my self growth, I realized it has nothing to do with other people and it always has everything to do with me. My internal world was not built on self worth and self respect. It was built on insecurity and judgment because I was so hard on myself to be perfect and to look a certain way. Once I got to that point, when I realized I only need to receive validation from myself, everything else changed. It's not that people stopped sharing their opinions with me. It's not that everyone became more sensitive to how I felt, but I became stronger in my own self esteem and I became stronger in my own sense of self worth. Now, step 3, we have replace pressure with genuine support. One of the main reasons why increasing self kindness towards ourselves is so important is because there are going to be moments in our life when we go through difficult circumstances and difficult experiences. And so, what we need to do is create an internal support system that's positive and that keeps us motivated even when we don't have external proof that we're doing the right thing and that we're going to succeed. Because we cannot live our lives expecting the world to give us kindness when we are feeling unkind towards ourselves. For example, if we begin a new job and it's our first day, we can't walk in expecting everyone to be nice to us and therefore it's going to be a great first day. We have to go into our first day at a new job proud of ourselves for showing up and doing something new, regardless of how it plays out, whether we make mistakes, whether we take a while to learn something. Because if we come from a place of internal pressure and we are walking into new experiences in life expecting perfection from ourselves, we are going to end up feeling very disappointed. When a child is trying something new for the first time, we don't pressure them to be perfect. We embrace their mistakes and we allow them to learn from them because that is ultimately how you build your confidence. You make a mistake and the world doesn't end, and you try again and you get better little by little until you forget that you were ever a beginner. And so, just like children need that initial support to build their own self confidence within, we have to do the same for ourselves. A tip for this step, if you feel that you have difficulty with genuinely supporting yourself, I would say write down 3 things that past you did that made your life today much easier. By doing this, you are building self appreciation, which in turn helps build that genuine support system within you. Step 4, heal yourself to heal the world. This is my favorite step. It is beautiful to know that by working on self growth and working on healing yourself, you in turn heal the world. By changing yourself, that creates a ripple effect that ends up changing the people around you, and they end up changing the people around them. Ultimately, it becomes a collective change. When we increase kindness towards ourselves, we end up becoming an inspiration for the people around us. Think about the people that you enjoy just being around. They don't have to speak, they don't have to interact with you, but just their presence alone feels comforting. Many times, that is someone that feels very secure within themselves, which means they like themselves, they appreciate themselves, and they're kind to themselves. That is ultimately the goal. When we increase kindness to ourselves, we end up becoming that light for people. We end up being that person that others gravitate towards because they just want to understand, how do you not allow your own thoughts and doubts and fears get to you? And when we are that light and we do embody that kindness towards ourselves, it inspires other people to seek out ways to do the same for themselves. Granted, there are times in life when we might feel that we are not surrounded by people like this, and we don't feel that we have that person that we can rely on that can lift us up when we are feeling down and we are not feeling so kind to ourselves. I believe when that is your circumstance, it is because you are meant to be the light, and you are the most capable in that moment of becoming a light for the people around you. That might not be what you want to hear if you are experiencing that, but I know it will set you free. You don't want to wait for everyone else around you to change in order for you to change. Don't wait for the people around you to become kinder for you to become kinder. You don't need them to begin improving your life. You never have, and you never will. A tip for this last step: give one act of kindness to someone else. Send a thoughtful text to a friend that you haven't spoken to in a while, or send a text to a family member that crossed your mind. When you do this, reflect on how it made you feel, because we all know that it's going to make the other person feel so loved and appreciated and seen. But really check in with yourself and watch how your inner dialogue shifts because you have made someone else's day a little bit brighter. I hope this episode inspired you to find ways to increase kindness towards yourself on a daily basis. Thank you for taking time out of your day to listen. I hope you have a great week. I love you all. Until next time, bye for now.